Today on OC News, we learn more about the Disneyland tragedy involving a high school principal. We take a look at how a former UFC fighter uses his wing restaurant to support the local community. Also, we get an inside scoop on the new Titan TV studio.
All that and more coming up on OC News.
Today,
and tech news.
We learn more about the Disneyland tragedy
There's been a
involving
lot
a
of
high school.
collaborative efforts
feel
over the years.
blessed to be here in Fullerton.
This just in tech news. First responder on There's been a lot of collaborative
I
efforts
feel
over the years.
blessed to be here in Fullerton.
Brought to you by the
Broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. OC News starts right now.
Hello and welcome to OC News. I'm Jason Martinez.
And I'm Jackie Cedillo. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students here at Cal State Fullerton. The past 3 weeks have been the largest protest ever by academic workers in our nation's history. Our reporter Enrique Medina took a deeper dive into the issues at hand and how the strike is affecting academic workers.
Frustration.
What do we want?
Passion. Just some of the words to help describe America's largest strike of academic workers ever. As it now goes into its third week, University of California academic workers still see no end in sight. The ongoing strike started back in mid-November as teaching assistants, graduate student researchers, fellows, and more continue to bargain and negotiate over unfair wages. According to United Auto Workers 2865, the union that represents all academic student employees in the University of California system, the most common wage for graduate workers is $23,247. Academic workers argue that this is nowhere near enough, demanding wages of up to $54,000 for all graduate workers and $70,000 for postdoctoral researchers.
Really communicating to the UC is that the UC's current contract terms, or rather the past contract terms, do not allow for graduate students to make ends meet.
Many academic workers argue that the wage is unfair for the amount of work that they complete on a day-to-day basis. To put this into perspective, here's Amber Jolly, a 27-year-old graduate student researcher and PhD student in ecology and evolutionary biology at the University of California, Irvine. Amber is conducting her own research in her dissertation, which focuses primarily on avocados. She constantly has to be moving back and forth, both from the fields and greenhouse, to help collect information for her research. On top of Amber's responsibilities conducting her own research, she also helps undergrads both get familiarized with working in a lab environment and also helps undergrads conduct their own research right here. And on top of that, she mentors undergrads on a consistent basis, helping them in their own research projects while also giving them career advice. The amount of work she does truly exemplifies a large part of the UC academic workers' frustrations.
Well, for me, working with plants takes a lot of time because I have to take care of them. But I would say that for me personally, like my hours can vary and like the work comes in waves. So like sometimes I'll have like a 60-hour work week. Other times I'll have 40. Other times I'll even have less than 40, like 30. So it just varies. And I feel like we never really take a break though. Like when you're home, you still always have something more to do. Like you're never done.
The picketing and striking still continues, but in a recent update, a tentative agreement has been reached for postdoctoral scholars and academic researchers, which may see steady increases in wages over the next 5 years. However, in the big picture, on top of the strike, the hope is to not only improve benefits and wages for UC workers, but to show the willingness of fighting for those rights in higher education.
Yes, my hope would be they bring this understanding, and frankly, if they're out on the front lines right now, and I know they are, right? You saw it yesterday. Bring the tools, bring the strategies, bring the tactics, so that wherever they go, they can fight for their own rights, and frankly, then also for the rights of their grad students and staff at their own universities.
That fight is one for the future that may impact all of higher education for generations to come. For OC News, I'm Enrique Medina.
President Joe Biden had a genius plan to take thousands of dollars from the balance held by nearly all federal student loan borrowers. But recently, the Supreme Court has paused this idea and has left many people who have student loans worried and concerned. Our reporter, Brianna Beverly Munoz, has the latest on this story.
Many were promised student loan forgiveness to happen and cancel up to $20,000 in debt. But unfortunately, recently the Supreme Court has put a pause on Joe Biden's student loan debt forgiveness program. An alumni, George Flores, who was promised by the Biden administration to cancel most of his student loan debt, is now upset and eager for answers.
Of course, like I mentioned before, the situation with the Supreme Court and the Biden administration just extending this pause, I know that the Supreme Court is reviewing this decision, which I, as a student and as a student perspective argument, I do not understand why the Supreme Court is still revising this proposal that it's going to be super beneficial for millions of students across the United States. So I would think, first of all, that the relief about the loan payments, they should be completed. The process that the Biden administration, they told us and they promised us in the beginning of his campaigning, before he was gonna be elected president, that's a promise, and we're looking for that promise to be fulfilled.
So the question is, when exactly will payments resume? Well, it's a little complicated. The justices agree to hear oral arguments in the case in February of 2023, with a decision expected by June of 2023. Now, weeks ago, the Biden administration did inform the people who were approved for the federal student loan relief program. And about 26 million people had already applied to the program by the time it was frozen, prompting the government to stop taking up applications. No debt has been canceled thus far. Vianney Gonzalez is one of the students here at Cal State Fullerton who was affected by this.
Leaves us with an unorganized financial issues and having a debt over our head, when in reality, this is something that the government should be solving for us.
As of now, there is no specific date as to when they will resume the program. This just leaves many students with unanswered questions, causing stress and anxiety to students who cannot pay off their student debt that they were promised to get help with from the Biden administration. For OC News, I'm Brianna Beverly.
The holiday and flu season are officially here. Maria Cornejo is in studio today with more details on the flu. Maria?
Thank you, Jason. I was able to find out more details on how the flu is overtaking Orange County and also how to protect yourself from getting sick. This sickness starts at the beginning of October and through the month of March.
My fever, the highest fever I got, went up to 100.7. I'm kind of sad because I thought my body was strong enough to fight this flu off. But today is Sunday, so I've been feeling this way since Thursday night, which was Thanksgiving.
According to Orange County Health Care Agency, there are about 2,003 cases of people getting sick with the flu. This block of tissue helps for people stop sneezing. It also helps for sick people to blow their noses.
In my professional opinion, the best way someone can protect themselves from the flu is to wash their hands for at least 20 seconds. If they are unable to wash their hands, they can also use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Another tip that I would say would be just to avoid touching their face.
The seasonal flu shot will help people not to get worse from the flu. I am Maria Cornejo, reporting for OC News.
An unexpected event happened at the happiest place on earth this Saturday. Christopher Christine, a 51-year-old principal from William T. Newland Elementary School in Huntington Beach, committed suicide after jumping off the Mickey and Friends parking lot at Disneyland. The trams were shut down for the night, making people walk to their cars. Christine was charged with 2 misdemeanor charges of battery and child endangerment. He was expected to be in court a few days after his death. The 51-year-old left a post on Facebook stating his innocence and saying goodbye to his loved ones.
Many Californians have noticed big price drops for gas recently. Gas prices have dropped again for the 24th consecutive day, averaging out to $4.86 per gallon in LA County, the lowest since late February. This comes after Governor Gavin Newsom authorized redistribution ease of the winter blend of gasoline before its scheduled October 31st rollout. Newsom blamed big oil companies for ramping up the gas prices to record numbers back in June and October, saying in a video posted on Twitter, and quote, the fact is they're ripping you off. Their record profits are coming at your expense, end quote.
With food prices skyrocketing, more people are seeking food banks for some relief. However, an Orange County nonprofit goes further than just donating food to the community. Rebecca Loyola brings us a heartfelt story.
For many, the holiday season brings joy and cheer. But for others who are facing financial hardships, it can be a very stressful time of the year. Community Action Partnership of Orange County is dedicated to helping those in need through their Adopt a Family program.
So Community Action Partnership of Orange County was born out of the fight on poverty, and that was in 1965. And so we've been, grassroots organization, really making a presence in the community to really make a change in the community. The Adopt a Family program is an annual program that we have at Community Action Partnership of Orange County, and so we're able to provide a wish and a want to families.
I come here and I feel at home. I'm 90 to 100% sure that if I come seeking advice or for a bag of food, I know that I can count on them. Martin is a single father of 3. He's been a beneficiary of the program. For those that have the blessing of receiving a toy for their little ones, it's a relief. Martin also has several health conditions, which makes single parenthood even more difficult.
El Modena Family Resource Center has helped families like Martin's with donations like this one. Thank you.
He came in and he was vulnerable and he was open with us and he said, look, this is what I need. This is my situation. And so I think that openness allowed us to really dive in and see what all his real needs were.
Martin's journey as a single father hasn't been a walk in the park. At 58 years old, he's acquired several health conditions. I have diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I use an oxygen mask to sleep, and I will be undergoing a knee surgery. I'm a little box full of health issues. Despite his condition, Martin holds a positive outlook on life, carrying a big smile everywhere he goes.
But he's resilient, and so that's what Martin brought in with him, the resiliency. And he's talking very differently. He's more positive, he's more optimistic, and he's not looking at what his defaults are. It's what the positive that he can offer for his kids.
If you'd like to help families like Martin's,
donate
by visiting www.capoc.org. From Orange County, Rebecca Loyola for OC News.
Coming up on OC News, how a CSUF student received help from a resource center on campus.
And also how a CSUF honorary alum gave life-changing opportunities for students and alumni. The holiday season is here and the temperatures are starting to show it. Our weather reporter Katie Kennedy has more.
Thanks, Jason. That's right. We're starting to see cooler temperatures, and some parts of Southern California are even seeing some rain over the last couple of days. Let's take a look at our weather today. Currently, we have temperatures at 63 degrees with the low of 51 tonight. Low wind speeds around 8 miles per hour and 47% humidity. The sunset was at 4:42 p.m. and the sun rose at 6:42 a.m. today. Similar temperatures for the week. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Temperatures across the Southern California area are averaging around 60 degrees, with Tuesday at 63 degrees and a low of 46. Wednesday is at 63 degrees and a low of 41. Thursday, we're seeing temperatures around 41 degrees and a low. Let's take a look at our national map today. On the West Coast, we're seeing temperatures in the mid-50s and low 40s. In the Midwest, we're seeing some rain showers and temperatures in the mid-40s. On the East Coast, we're seeing highs at 71 in New Orleans and 45 in New York. That's it for our weather today. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Katie. Veterans and military-connected students have a home at Cal State Fullerton. Our reporter, Katie Kennedy, has more on the center.
Cal State Fullerton student and veteran James Anthony Barant has seen firsthand the benefits that CSUF's Veterans Resource Center has to offer.
The Veterans Resource Center kind of dumbed it down for me. All right, this is what you need to do. This is when. This is by the date that you need to do it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll come back to you after I finish it. And it was just very sequential, and I just naturally gravitated towards this area, and it really helped me out.
The center is a place for veterans and military-connected students to visit and receive support for anything that they might be going through as students and veterans.
Then they have the Vet Forward program. So the Vet Forward program is a cohort-based program for seniors, usually for seniors, but they open it if we don't have enough seniors. I recently just did it, so it's a career readiness program to help with the interview skills with Indeed, LinkedIn, Department of State, and career fairs, all these things that just that get you the foot in the right door.
The help Barant received inspired him to help others that may be experiencing similar things that he went through as a veteran.
Just being able to relieve someone of who I can understand of that anxiety or going through a tough time and understanding what they may be going through, military-related things, and I think being able to help the population I identify with most really helps me be the best person I can be so I can help other people.
But the center is more than a place to find help. It's a place to find a family. Wellness coordinator at the VRC, Tanya Roa Morales, says the center hosts events and creates a space welcoming for everyone.
So I think our students are non-traditional in the sense of their lived experience is so unique that we try to create a center with different and diverse experiences where they can feel that they connect with someone.
The center also gets students ready for life after graduation. Program coordinator for professional development and training, Giovanni Berdejo, says watching the students grow is what makes his job so special.
Seeing students become more than just veterans. I'm very proud of the service that I did in the military, and a lot of us are, but we need to remind ourselves that's just one piece of who we are. We're professionals, we're spouses, we're children, we're brothers and sisters.
The Veterans Resource Center is open Monday through Friday. Find out more about the center on their website. For OC News, I'm Katie Kennedy.
An inspiring Cal State Fullerton partner has paved the way for several students and alumni. Our reporter Andrea Casillas spoke to her to find out what motivates her to help them kickstart their career.
Little Smart has changed numerous lives, including some students from Cal State Fullerton. Smart began her career in Puerto Rico at an advertising agency before eventually coming to California after seeking a change of scenery.
My plan was to come here and spend a year or two, and then go back home. So when an opportunity arose, it was here in California, and I thought, why not? I took the challenge, again, thinking I was going to be here for a year or two, and here we are, 30 years later.
Continuing her work in California is one of the best decisions she's ever made. She gives back to the Hispanic community by mentoring aspiring public relation and advertising students, specifically those at CSUF.
As an agency, we partially funded a class which was Spanish language for advertising. And that class helped prepare students, bilingual students, for our business, and we actually hired a few students that came from that class.
SMART partnered with Cal State Fullerton's Latino Communications Institute several years ago. It was a pivotal moment for her and students at CSUF who eventually became her employees.
Alexis Flores, a CSUF alumni, is one of the many students at SMART has helped jumpstart careers.
And she really guided me since that first dinner at her home till me being here.
However, paving the way for students and alumni by providing them with internship and job opportunities is only one of the many ways that SMART has helped students. Daniela Quillores says that SMART has been one of the most influential people in her life for both her personal and professional growth.
She owns this agency and she cares about everybody here. And not, like I said, not just as a boss, but she cares about people, and their personal lives, their personal growth, and their career growth, of course. But she definitely does play a pivotal role in me staying here.
As president and CEO of Casanova McCann, she has won countless of awards, including the CSUF 2022 Vision and Visionaries Honorary Alumna Award, and was named one of Orange County's Business Journal's top 50 most influential people.
I love what I do. I don't plan to retire anytime soon because I enjoy coming to work every day. And as long as I can say that every day, I'm going to continue to come and help create a place where we all feel happy and fulfilled. And I don't think it's a Pollyanna thought, right? I think it doesn't mean that every day it will be like that, but that as a whole, that we will all be happy to come to work too.
In Costa Mesa, I'm Andrea Casillas, reporting for OC News.
With no hope for success, a young immigrant defeats all odds and becomes the first in his family to graduate for college. Here's Emma Suarez with more on the story.
All children have their own way of having fun and getting into trouble. Giovanni Perez experienced the same thing, only his childhood was a bit more extreme.
Growing up, I had a really unique background. I was kind of what you would call a delinquent kid or child, right? I got in trouble a lot during elementary school, all the way towards intermediate school. Actually got kicked out and spent 3 years in continuation school.
Although Giovanni was quite the troublemaker, Nicholas Perez shares what he did to help his kids stay out of trouble.
Pero un niño, pues, normal, ya muchacho.
But a normal young boy who was good at soccer and sports. I had all my sons in sports, in soccer, to prevent exactly that, so that they wouldn't get into trouble like joint gangs and other bad things.
Mis hijos no se metieran en problemas, como pandillas, como cosas malas.
I was kind of the problem child, the black sheep, if you will, and just getting in trouble in all sorts of ways, with law enforcement, getting arrested, had like 2 felonies before I was like 16, and so just all along the way, I had a really challenging, childhood and background. I met a teacher. Her name was Miss Webb. She was like a pivotal person in my life that really changed my perspective, and I was her only student. So it was just me and her, and she spent a lot of time with me, understanding kind of why I do the things that I do, and she actually really motivated me to kind of get my act together, go back to normal high school.
Giovanni graduated from Bolsa Grande High School. He later went on to attend and graduate from Cal State Fullerton.
I got my degree. I broke into technology. Now my cybersecurity company, cutting edge, doing really well for myself financially, professionally. I think Cal State Fullerton had a lot to do with that as well.
Despite being told multiple times by law enforcement and school faculty that he would never amount to anything, Giovanni worked hard and overcame these adversities. His dad, Nicholas Perez, shares how proud he is of Giovanni's successes and achievements.
Eso es parte de todos.
That's part of what all the immigrants who come to the United States for. They come for progress, I think it's an honor to have kids who have graduated from university. It's a privilege.
La universidad es un privilegio.
I'm Emma Suarez reporting for OC News.
The Honda Center is investing billions of dollars in a new redevelopment project here. Here is Brian Corrales with more.
So between phase 1 and 2028, when we host the Olympics here at Honda Center, we will be building 2 master hotels, an amphitheater. There's several 100,000 square feet over the 100 acres of retail, additional restaurant, new entertainment venues, probably more like small clubs, speakeasies. We'll also be putting in residential. So there's about 1,500 units that people will be able to buy or live in here on the property. There's also going to be a massive amount of construction that is around workspace.
Really cool architecture designs for buildings surrounding the area. I think is a really good addition, especially since like right now the Honda Center is just like just black asphalt and concrete, and I don't think that's really like the most tourist attractive kind of thing to put there. So I think this is a really good addition to the city.
So what's really cool about our project as opposed to most other projects of any kind of size and scope like this is that we are owned by Henry and Susan Samueli. They independently have made their money in the tech industry. They have owned the Ducks franchise now going on about 20 years. They've been the operators of the Honda Center for about that same time. So almost all of this money is private fund. We're not looking to outside investors, any of the normal ways that some project of this size will go about getting their funds. We're almost entirely internal. The mercy of going out, finding another investor or making sure that the hedge fund doesn't collapse. It's kind of our money, right? So if we want to accelerate something that would have been in phase 4 into phase 2 because it makes more sense for our business or it makes more sense for the community, or we're looking to just do it faster, we can do that. We're not necessarily hands tied from a financial perspective.
In Mexico, Day of the Virgin of Guadalupe is a national holiday, but it also has become an important day for Mexican Americans to celebrate their religious and cultural identity. Our reporter, Rebecca Loyola, visited an impressive shrine dedicated to La Virgen de Guadalupe.
Madre de Dios y Madre nuestra.
It's uncommon to stumble upon a massive shrine such as this one. But for the past 25 years, a Santa Ana family has honored La Virgencita. When I came to the U.S. in '88, someone invited me to church. I saw that the altar wasn't decorated the way that the Virgen deserved it. So it was at that moment that I promised myself that as long as I was alive and I had a home, I would build her a shrine. In Mexican Catholicism, it is custom for people to serve in a worship known as novena, a prayer that begins 9 days before the Virgen de Guadalupe's anniversary. We know that La Virgen de Guadalupe appeared to San Juan Diego, who is now Saint Juan Diego, on the peak of Tepeyac. That's the hill you see represented on the altar. Today, we're kicking off the commemoration of another year since her appearance that occurred 491 years ago. Luisa's promise to La Virgen de Guadalupe has grown into a community gathering where members pray and enjoy a warm cup of champurrado along with pan dulce. Thanks to her, I have a family, a godson, I have close friends. Overall, I just surround myself with great people. The novena will continue until December 12th, when hundreds will gather here to sing to La Virgen de Guadalupe. From Santa Ana, Rebecca Loyola for OC News.
A CSUF student started a podcast to inspire others. I got the chance to ask her about why she started the podcast.
Inspiring Chaos, I am Una Chavez, and welcome to another episode.
Eunice Chavez is a 21-year-old host and founder of the podcast Inspiring Chaos, where she has created a safe space for first-gen Latina women like her to share their story of success to help inspire other young, aspiring women.
And then I really wanted it to be a platform where anyone can come and share their story of success, so that's why I decided to start a podcast.
Inspiring Chaos started as a small thought, and it took just a microphone that she was gifted to take that step into starting her own podcast. Eunice, who started a couple months ago, today has captivated over 1,000 followers on social media and her podcast combined. She wants to make sure that others who have a hard time with their identity can hopefully relate to her podcast. However, Eunice has a mission to go beyond the podcast and aspires to a bigger goal for her community.
I want to start like a community from it, not only a podcast, but also a community where people maybe even have like a center, maybe, or perhaps kind of like where people can come and study and do homework or read, have a library, like a place where they feel safe and they feel welcome, no matter your gender, your sexuality, your religion, where they can just come and be themselves and enjoy, their time in the place.
Eunice wants to continue breaking down barriers, to continue inspiring, and hopefully write her book one day.
I hope they realize that if I can do it, they can too. I think, I've always been an introvert. I've always been so scared about what other people would say. So I hope people realize that your voice needs to be heard. I think being a Latina, being a minority, you feel kind of like, oh, it doesn't matter what you say. A white man can say it for you. But I feel that as a Latina, as a first gen, as a woman, our voices need to be heard, and that we shouldn't be ashamed of saying, this is what I want to say. Even though maybe a lot of people may not agree with you, it is okay. Just speak your truth. And I think that's something I wish, Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. Now let's go on hearing Eunice's inspiring story of success.
Reporting for OC News, this is Jacqueline Cedillo.
Coming up, we have the details on Cal State Fullerton sports games that went underway this week.
And also, if you noticed anything different about our show today, well, we'll tell you about Titan TV's new upgrades.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
A former UFC fighter is making the community of Placentia a better place with hot wings. This past week, I got the chance to cover his story to find out how.
This was all like nothing. This wall wasn't here. Like none of this was here. It just looked like, it's crazy to see like how it looked on day one.
This is Christian Aguilera. He's living his dream as a professional mixed martial artist. After a successful debut in the UFC, Christian was awarded a fight bonus for his KO victory. He then used that bonus to fulfill his other dream, opening a wing restaurant.
Once I made the UFC, me and my best friend decided to open up a restaurant. This is it. This is JD's Wings and Things in Placentia. We've been working this for about a year now, so hustling. That's where we're at right now.
Christian has been preparing his recipe years before JD's Wings opened its doors. His signature trademark is baked wings, and it quickly became popular with the locals.
Best food I ever had in a very long time. When it comes to like comfort food, it's at its highest standard. Highest standard.
I think it's a way better flavor to it. You don't get that like greasy flavor at the end. It's just the chicken flavor, just like all the spices you put into it. You taste everything. So it's a lot deeper flavor with baked wings, I think.
Christian prides himself on JD's Wings being a small business, dedicating its services to the community of Placentia and Orange County.
We're here, we want to make the city the best we can. We want to add flavor to it. We want to add like we want to be that neighborhood spot, you know, and like I think we're doing well, like blending into the community, welcoming the community in, like being like good guys, you know.
The customers are cool, you know. We got everyone from the high school down the street, through, you know, the city workers. You see construction workers come in all the time, so it's great, you know. It's nice to know that I'm doing something a part of not only my community but other people's community.
It's cool vibes for sure, and if you've been to the wing shop before, you understand what I'm saying. It's cool vibes, you know. You walk in, people greet you. You don't feel like people are in there to just like get in, get out. Like you get in there, it feels like it's a hangout. So you're getting great environment, but also you're getting great food.
And while you wait for your food, don't forget to check out some of the games they have here, like basketball. Try your shot.
To me, I absolutely love that it makes you feel like you're in the comfort of someone's backyard. They have games here that you can play, backyard games. Just the vibe with the music, and then they just are very personable here, where you feel like you're their friends and their family in their backyard, and everything's truly made with love and hard work, and you can totally tell the quality in all of their food, so I love it.
Another way Christian contributes to the community is offering specials to the nearby Valencia High School students.
My partner and I was just talking one day. We're like, we see these kids walking by every day, and we want them to come here. We want them to we want to be inside the restaurant, you know? So, and I remember being like a high school kid back in the day, like I didn't always have money.
Yeah, it was one of those things we sat down and we just talked about how like we want to get back to the high school and realize like a lot of the kids you'll see will come here and there'll be like 3 or 4 kids and only one kid will buy the food. And I was like, man, and Christian was like, man, that's not cool. And all of a sudden we lowered the price like by 25-30% just for the high school kids. And now when you see like 5 or 6 kids are buying that because it's affordable for them.
Christian hopes to expand the restaurant after October 2023, but for now, the original JD's Wings is 5 minutes away from Cal State Fullerton on the corner of Chapman and Bradford Avenue, next to the Water Tower in Placentia, California. Reporting for OC News, I'm Jason Martinez.
End of the year sales are happening all around, even here at our campus. Our reporter Carlos Vega has more on a special sale here at CSUF.
Did you know that there's a store at CSUF right next to the library that is having an end of the year sale? Come on, let's check it out.
This has been a great semester. It's been the best semester since we moved to this location. And we're really doing 2 things. I mean, one is we're trying to raise money for the library, specifically for special collections. But we're also trying to get books into the hands of students.
And there's plenty of more things you can find at this bookstore, such as DVDs, CDs, and even sheet music.
We've got, books that are relatively inexpensive. We also have fiction. That's our biggest seller, are the fiction books.
Here are the thoughts of other students that have come into the bookstore and checked it out.
It's actually really big. I didn't know it was so big. Like, I feel like it's really deep. Because I always walk by here, but I never knew how big it was. Honestly, you never know what you're gonna find, especially when it's kind of like used books, Because I feel like used books are kind of cool because someone else has read them, and sometimes you can find little annotations in the books, so you can kind of see what that person was thinking when they were also reading the same book you were.
And of course, here we are at the CSUF bookstore right beside the library and next to the stairs that take you to the basement of the library. You can come in during their hours. All you need is your student ID, and you just feel free to check out any book you like. So go ahead.
Our reporter Melanie had the chance to follow an inspiring story about a young athlete breaking gender roles.
That's right. I had the chance to meet with a young athlete that is not letting anything stand in the way of her following her dreams. Stick around to find out what sport she plays.
It's the most important game of the season. Freshman goalie number 23, Kat Reyes, has just stepped on the ice. But it's the team she's on that is breaking gender roles. Kat is a goalie for the men's ice hockey team at Cal State Fullerton, defending the crease for the Titans.
I went from roller all those years just to playing ice, and then from there I ended up playing 16 AAA for the Lady Ducks, and then I moved and I played varsity for my senior year because I wanted to be on my home city, my hometown, because why not? And then now I'm here, and I'm playing with the guys.
But many players on the team do not see Kat any different.
Nice to see those gender barriers kind of being broken down in especially college hockey where it is a little bit less common.
But other than that, I mean, Kat's just another player on the team. As far as I'm concerned, or most of the guys are concerned, she's just one of the boys.
She has been playing hockey since she was 10. Playing hockey with the boys is nothing new for Kat. Breaking down these barriers have fueled her love for hockey.
But because the guys were so hard on me when I played when I was younger, it pushed me to keep going, I feel like. So from there, about like when I was maybe 12 or 13, I switched over to goalieing, and I don't know, I kind of fell in love with it. It was just the funnest thing in the world.
Even though sometimes Kat has to push herself even harder when playing on a team with primarily males, she loves a good challenge.
Cool to see how she's able to work so well with the odds against her, especially in college hockey, where, like I said, it's not as common to see women, but yet she's still here, she's still working hard, and she doesn't care that the odds are stacked against her. That, if anything, just motivates her to work even harder and push herself even farther.
In her years of playing hockey, Kat has accomplished so much at such a young age.
When I played 16 AAA with the girls, I went to nationals. We went to Philadelphia. No, I lied. We went to Pennsylvania. And I got to play Little Caesars, who was the #2 team in the nation, and we lost 5-2, but they ended up winning in the final game and winning all nationals by the score of 5-2, which I thought was crazy. I had like 50 saves that game, and so I ended up on the leaderboard for the goalies.
With Kat's involvement in helping other girls just like her, she hopes for a more welcoming environment for women in hockey.
I want to see more doors open because I feel like there are a lot of girls who maybe got in contact with the wrong coach and they should have met other people at certain times, and that would have pushed them to be where they could have been, but instead some of them even quit because they just didn't like what they were doing.
This is only the beginning for Kat Reyes as she pursues her degree in criminal justice at Fullerton. Kat is here to break all the barriers and show the world that girls can play hockey too. This was Melanie Blanco reporting for OC News.
What a great story, Melanie. Speaking of sports and hockey, Enrique Medina is in studio with sports. Enrique?
Thank you very much, Jason. Cal State Fullerton's men's basketball team delivered an action-packed game last Wednesday as they faced Seattle University. Plus, CSUF hockey and volleyball were also in action recently. Sports reporters Jessica Lopez and Melanie Blanco have the recaps.
Cal State Fullerton's men's basketball team was on the road this past week facing Seattle U. Titans started the game off strong as Vincent Lee gained possession of the ball and completed a three-point play. Following close behind, Latrell Wrightwell Jr. secured the Titans an early advantage with a jump shot and three-pointer. The momentum continued for the Titans with a three-pointer from Grayson Carper. With some strong layups, Fullerton led the first half of the game with a score of 35-28. Fullerton continued pushing the start of second half with three-point plays from Max Jones. Lee continued to shine this game with the hook shot, bringing the Titans to a 7-point lead with 12:46 on the clock. The Red Hawks refused to go down without a fight. With 8 minutes left, Seattle U's Riley Grisby stole Fullerton's lead with a fast break layup. This was the start of Seattle's comeback as they led the end of second half, ultimately stealing the win from Fullerton. CSUF put up a good fight but fell short, finishing the night with a scoreboard of 69-62.
The Titan Ice hockey team faced Chapman this past weekend for their 15th game of the season. Starting goaltender Kat Reyes saved 15 goals this game, leading the team to victory to the final score of 5-3. This game, the Titans stand 11-4 on the season. Games will resume after Christmas break. Sad news for the women's volleyball team as they lose their final game against UC Davis in a tight game, only winning 2 out of the 5 sets after splitting first 4 sets 2-2 with the Aggies. That's all for sports. This is Melanie Blanco reporting for OC News.
Cal State Fullerton has revived a program that has been absent for 37 years. Being in charge of it will be a tall task. Alex Granados has more on the new head coach of water polo.
1985. That was the last time Cal State Fullerton had water polo teams. Earlier this year, the school unveiled a new Olympic pool, followed by the hiring of former Loyola Marymount women's water polo head coach Kyle Witt. Coach Witt has experience overseeing both men's and women's teams, but now he'll be starting from scratch and will take it one step at a time.
The pool isn't even fully set up yet behind us. It just takes time to get these things done. So again, it's running our own race, it's taking our time and doing it right.
Loyola Marymount men's water polo head coach John Loughran meant so much to him.
He's everything to me because he helped jumpstart my career, and he's been a great mentor, just giving advice and not even knowing he's giving advice, just kind of being around and helped a lot. So the reason I'm here is partially because of him.
Loughran believes his experience at Gannon University will serve him well.
I think that experience will help him a lot, dealing with all the things that each program entail, from recruiting to scheduling to planning to with administration, developing players. He'll have a lot of young players at Fullerton, as he had out in Pennsylvania.
Regular breaststroke, coming back, you're kind of sculling, doing air theater.
Coach Loughran instilled commitment, loyalty, relationships, and work ethic into Coach Witt, and he wants to continue this and find a team of grinders.
Now that you're here at Cal State Fullerton with water polo, it's going to be tough too. So we want kids that are gritty, that are willing to fight, that have fought for everything they've got so far in life, and will fight for what they have here. So
once Witt gets the program up and running, Loughran believes he's bound to do well.
Definitely think they can be competitive in the Big West. You look at your basketball programs and all your other programs, baseball. I think he could be just as successful as any sport in the athletic department at Fullerton.
Witt has always emphasized athletes as academics, and he'll continue his no-nonsense approach here at Cal State Fullerton.
So again, the way we do it too in this program, we'll bench you if your grades aren't up to par. We'll keep you out of practice. We'll do all that kind of stuff. So we'll do what it takes to make sure you understand how serious we are about that.
Although the men's team doesn't return until fall of 2023, Coach Witt has his hands full with the women's team, who begin their season in the spring.
So tell me, Alex, 37 years in the making, with getting to know a little bit more about the history of the program and just, I believe you said it was 1985 the last time it was here. What was your favorite part, just getting to know more about the history and getting to know more about the culture with water polo here at CSUF?
Well, my favorite part was mostly regarding Coach Witt. He's definitely a grinder. He's really passionate about returning the program. He wouldn't take this opportunity if he wasn't a grinder. It's going to be a tall task. Starting brand new. I remember one of the things that was really surprising, he actually had a season where he was winless, 0-12, so he's in this for a reason. He loves coaching, so he's really passionate, and it shows.
And that's exactly the type of people we want here coaching at CSUF. So we wish the water polo program nothing but the best. I'll throw things back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Alex and Enrique. And us broadcast journalism students are very fortunate to have the tools we do in our studio. Our department keeps upgrading a few things every year, but they might have outdone themselves this year.
The Titan Communications Center has received new upgrades in their broadcast studios, including a new green screen, switcher, cameras, a voice-activated prompter, as well as new mics and a DJ booth camera in the Titan radio. But the crown jewel of them all is the LED wall. After waiting for the LED wall to be delivered for about 2 years, it took Nathan Jeffers, Jeffrey Witten, Araj Shadaram, and other IT staff about 4.5 hours to construct, which they did during Thanksgiving break. The LED wall will definitely be a director's best friend.
Oh my gosh, I think the new LED wall is freaking amazing because, first of all, we can have virtually so many different background sets for all of our various different shows, and then that means we get to keep the cameras, keep the lights exactly how they're set, and we don't have to go around of like rearranging the studio like we've been doing from the past.
The LED wall will be a huge asset for the department and directors, allowing flexibility with the studio with just the click of a button.
I think it'll open the door for many opportunities. I can see virtual sets, I can see static textures, I can see so many different things and opportunities that open up because of this wall.
Because this LED wall can travel, the possibilities are endless.
The great thing about this wall is that even though it looks very permanent, it's actually portable. It's made up of individual panels. And so those can be taken down and then set up in different locations, powered.
Some hope that the upgrades continue and keep getting better.
In the future, I hope to see a whole 360-degree around the whole studio, on the bottom, on the top, everywhere. I want monitors everywhere.
Let's catch up on entertainment news with Emma Suarez, who has the latest.
Thank you, Jason. Entertainment news is constant. We unfortunately have a beloved water ride closure, a new series, and a lawsuit. Here's the latest. Check it out. Disneyland and Disney World Splash Mountain are closing. The iconic attraction is set to close on January 23rd. The water ride is closing after being criticized for its idyllic portrayal of plantation life, with its current Brer Rabbit story tied to the 1946 Disney film Song of the South. The ride's replacement, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, is set to open in 2024 at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. It will continue the story started in Disney's beloved animated film, The Princess and the Frog. Criminal Minds is back on television but has taken its very dark news story to the streaming world on Paramount+.
All my years as a profiler, I studied killers, but I never studied what a pandemic would do to them.
The Behavioral Analysis Unit takes on a new serial killer breed in Criminal Minds Evolution.
These aren't just connected cases. This is a serial killing network.
To me, it was such a smart way of looking at how the last couple of years would have affected our heroes, who the office has been shut down. They've been working out off of their phones and off of each other and just with the resources at hand, but how it would affect a serial killer.
I'll grieve in my own way, thank you very much, and I wish other people would respect that.
The series also delves into off-screen events during the pandemic and the effects on the members of the BAU.
I miss the team every day. I miss you.
More than 24 Taylor Swift fans are suing the ticketing giant and its parent company, Live Nation. They say Ticketmaster broke antitrust and other laws in the now infamously chaotic sales process for Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. The suit alleges the companies engaged in anti-competitive practices, charging higher prices on fans in the pre-sale, sale, and resale market. According to the plaintiffs, Ticketmaster forced concertgoers to use its site exclusively and controlled all registration and access to the tour. Ticketmaster has apologized to fans and said that the demand, along with an elevated number of bot attacks, drove unprecedented traffic to the site and essentially broke it. This just in, breaking news. Kirstie Alley, best known for her role on Cheer, has just died at the age of 71. That is all for entertainment news I have for today. Back to you, Jackie and Jason.
Thank you, Emma. That's all we have for you tonight. We want to thank you for joining us tonight on our last show of OC News for the fall semester. OC News will resume in the spring semester at the end of January.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page at Titan TV. From all of us here at OC News, have a great night and happy holidays.